Hello everyone, Kireth here, welcome to another GT Sport video, and I'm super excited about this one. It's finally here, the Club 100 All-Stars GT Sport Championship in 2021, and this is the most stacked league I've ever raced in on any game or any sim. It is crazy the calibre of driver in here. You've got Super GT, you've got 3 or 4 Nissan GT Academy finalists, you've got both KRT Aliens of the Year in 2020, Ryan, Ruswald, better known as Ruswald there on the right, and Nathan NM1M. Also got myself making up the numbers. But yeah, this is just, the standard of driving here is so high, and I'm so lucky I can be a part of this. We'll have a look at the grid here. This is actually race 2 of the first round. There's 2 races in each round. It's a reverse grid of race 1 where I started 10th and finished 9th. But this is the feature race, where there's 4 times tyre wear, no fuel consumption, but 4 times tyre wear in Group 3 cars. And I've gone for the Aston Martin. I'm racing for Team Freibuntus Racing with my teammate Tim Clark. And I'm going to guide you through this race. So you can see here, Alex Wilmot on the left getting a lot of wheel spin in the Porsche. And I stick to the right here because no one's defending it. A little gap has opened up alongside the blue Aston Martin on the left. And just going to dive in. It's going to be side by side, and there is a bit of contact, but we just about end up ahead. So I'll definitely take that. And just behind the two red cars ahead. So everyone is racing for a team in this championship. A bit like Formula 1, 2 drivers in each team. We're in Freibuntus Racing. Livery's done by Detonator. I'll put a link to Detonator's profile in the description below. Created some cracking liveries in the KRT community, alongside the likes of Al, Andy and others. And the 2 drivers ahead racing for Team Red or Lightning McQueen or something like that. Pajonski and Treviso. Treviso is a genuine top split driver. I think the fastest driver in the West on a pad. So we'll see if we can keep up with him. And on the top right here I've got the live broadcast feeds from DW Commentary, David Whitehouse commentating on every round live. So I'll put a link to that in the description below as well, so you can catch these races live if you want to see me bottle it live. Although I didn't bottle it in this race. This was a mega race and I really had to be on my A game, because as I said, the standard of driving here is so high. I mean, there are genuine aliens here, actual aliens, and my aim really for the championship is to just kind of keep in touch with them, just hang on the back and slowly start to get somewhere where I can mix it, because if I can start to mix it with the aliens, then that's how I might become a bit faster. It's one of my top tips for racing generally. If you want to become faster, race with people that are faster than you. It's served me well so far, definitely. Seeing the broadcast feed on the right there, Nathan in the McLaren, going side by side with Gianni, who is my teammate for this race, actually standing in for Tim Clark in this race. Just good to see Gianni with some robust defence there against Nathan, one of the fastest drivers. So to give you all the information about the championship, each round there are 2 races. Race 1, we're all in the Group 4 Aston Martin in a 20-minute race we're qualifying. And in race 2 is the feature race, and half an hour race, open choice car in Group 3, and times 4 tyre wear. So I've gone for the Aston Martin. You can see Pajonski's in the Lexus, so at this point I started to notice that Pajonski was maybe struggling a little bit more with the tyre wear already. Treviso's in the Dodge Viper there, so is Ruswald. Super GT in the Lexus, so a good mix of cars. And we skip forward a bit there, you see Pajonski was really unlucky, just ever so slightly cut that corner. And yeah, just gets a half-second penalty, so really unlucky, but even more so began to notice increasingly the Lexus seeming like a bit of a handful and running wide on exits particularly. So let's follow Pajonski through here into turn 1, which is a very tricky corner. Really tricky. Good line. And then this left-hander, which I hate. I cannot do this left-hander. Really blind point as to when you're going to accelerate, I find. And another left-hander here where I noticed Pajonski was quite wide of the apex, so I put that note in my back pocket just in case we can take advantage of that later on in the race. Yeah, the Nürburgring, a track I'd only driven a few months ago. Before then I'd never ever driven it. And it's really not my best track, so I've got to outperform my ability in this track really to stand a chance of picking up any half decent points. You can see behind us Roswell Super GT, Marky Boy, another GT Academy finalist. Same year as Tidgney. So really fast drivers are stacking up behind. Like planes coming into Heathrow back in the day. So we're going to go through the centre S here. You can see I'm gaining on Pajonski, and Treviso is starting to edge out a little gap. Mega fast driver, Treviso. Can't let him do that. Genuine top split driver. And here's Roswald announcing himself. Just a little bit of contact. I didn't even know Roswald was actually so close. I was so focused on the cars ahead. But now I know. The party has arrived. We're going to go through the chicane again at the end of the lap. And let's see if Pajonski is going to be a bit tighter this time. As we go in. And that one looked fine to me, but if I recall, I think Pajonski's going to pick up another half a second, so I'm not sure how that worked out because that looked like a good line through there, but anyway. And Roswell's really putting on the pressure behind. You can look at the feed on the top right. You've got a Super GT also in proximity, and it's really stacking up behind now. I've got to get past Pajonski really, otherwise I'm going to be easy pickings. Half think about a move there. Pajonski goes very wide. Looks as though the tyres are going off already. And I try and cut under here, and I'm going to go for it here. I'm going to try and take the title line. We saw Pajonski run wide here on the previous lap. And yeah, we just about, look at the radar, just about get our nose in front. And we're in second place. Roswald, look at that behind. It's 3 wide behind. Super GT, Roswald and Pajonski. Who's going to come out on top? Oh, it looks like Roswald had the inside line and Pajonski's out on the sand. So we did okay there to get ahead of that relatively early doors, bought ourselves some more time with Roswald and Super GT. Team Quadrant versus Roswell's iconic livery versus Fragmentus Racing. And Treviso now has a 2.6 second advantage and potentially really looking after those tyres as well, not having to battle at all. Which is something I noticed in this race. If you battled, it really took it out on the tyres. This combo, this 4 times tyre wear, open choice Group 3, at the Nürburgring, even though I don't really like the track, it's probably better than most of the FIA races this year. It's just a cracking combo, as we'll see in this race. Super GT really close to Roswald. Not going to think about a move though. I think actually, you know what, might go around the outside, and I don't believe it. Super GT has managed to go around the outside of the chicane, which I wasn't even sure that was possible. Let's have a look on the replay here. I guess Roswell goes a little bit deep, and Super GT just able to hang around the outside. The most important thing for us is it's bought us some more time again. So I think someone dove into the pits there. So we're now a second ahead Roswell, who must have just got ahead of Super GT. So they are really battling. And the gap to Treviso is actually coming down slightly. Was 2.3 for a little bit there. So I am driving okay, trying to nurse these tyres. My usual teammate Tim Clark is an absolute guru of the tyre wear. He was in the winning team last season, along with Callum. Callum, another GT Academy finalist, along with Marky Boy, 92. And Roswell is right back on our tail now. We can see there's 3 very fast drivers behind. I mean, I'm a bit out of place in this top 5, I'll be honest with you. But we'll try and do our best here. And yeah, I think we're gently reeling in Treviso. Now on strategy, I've done a bit of practice here. And I wasn't completely sure whether the 1-stop was going to be faster than the 2-stop. You think the 1-stop would be faster because the tyre wear isn't super aggressive and you're going to save out a whole pit stop. But the problem with the 1-stop is the couple of laps you have to do extra on the tyre get really painful. It really goes off a cliff in Group 3, and I don't think it matters too much which car you're in actually. It's pretty bad in all of them. So as we have a look behind here, I think at this point if Super GT is going to dive into the pits. Let's have a look at the radar bottom right. Yeah, you can see Super GT is in the pits, and at that moment I realised that probably the 1-stop is not going to be the ideal strategy. Super GT's in the pits, Marky Boy's in the pits, Martin's in the pits. And they're going to be in cleaner air, probably, and not going to suffer that cliff edge tyre wear that I'm going to feel. But anyway, I'm going to commit to the one stop here. Roswell well goes through the inside. I think Roswell was looking to do one stop as well. That was the optimal lap to go in for the two stop. But we'll see what happens at the end of this lap. At the moment, I'm pretty happy with my racing, to be honest. In second place, gently bringing that gap down to Treviso. Hopefully, you can get it under 2 seconds. Managing to hold off Roswald. I don't think I've ever really held off Roswald for this long. Normally in Club 100, he's lapped me by now in the karts. I'm going to go to this hairpin, a very tricky hairpin here. Two ways of approaching it. You can either go deep and come back in yourself, or you can kind of hug the apex, as I did there. That gap to Treviso still coming down ever so slightly. Nathan is really on a charge in the McLaren. 153.8 is a mega lap time. My fast so far is a 155.3. We're only going to get slower now. As you see, I start to slide a little bit. Roswell behind, just generally a fast driver than me, so we'll see. Are we going to go defensive down the straight? I think we have to, because we are racing everyone at this point. So he's just a little bit too far away. Going over the chicane. I was actually okay through the chicane. That time not the best, but generally I was not too bad. And Russell's going to go into the pits here, so fed up of waiting behind me and losing a lot of time. And that means he might possibly get undercut by the likes of Super GT. Treviso went in as well, so we're going to be in provisional first place here. Although not when all the pit stops are said and done, we won't be. And let's see where Roswell comes out. You see on the broadcast here, and everyone's steaming ahead of him. So Roswell's lost out there in that pit stop. So he's behind Marky Boy now. Behind Marky Boy, behind Nathan, behind Super GT, behind Treviso. But his tyres will be fresher at a different point in the race. That's what I mean about the strategies that's being very interesting here. You can do all kinds of undercuts and you have to pay your dues at some point. So Roswell's paying his dues now. But may be able to hang in a slip there, save his tyres a little bit and be really fresh at the end of the stint. Meanwhile, back on board with us in first place, we've got a 3.2 second lead. But the tyres are going to be really painful now. You can see they're wearing evenly. I think my brake bias was +2. So at least it's not like the fronts are going off the cliff and the rears are fine. They're all going off equally badly, if that's a good thing. And I had a choice to make at this point. Do I pit now at the end of this lap, which is a little bit earlier than optimal for the one stop? Or do I keep going and probably lose time? Maybe get caught up by the pack that are really catching me now. And I decided to keep going with the one stop. I basically committed to the one stop now, even though it looked as though everyone else was doing the two stop. So we're going to try doing an alternate strategy. And they are fighting behind. So not only will they be losing time, but they will also be burning through the tyres a bit quicker. And I can do my own thing here. And potentially, if we go a bit longer and if we kind of pit the next lap just as they catch us, we might slot in behind them, have some more clean laps, really look after the tyres, and then when they do their second pit stop, that's when we'll really work out where we are. So that was my thought at this point in time. You can see we did a 56.7, which is 3 seconds, over 3 seconds slower than Nathan's fastest lap. So the tyres make a huge difference here, and really spinning up the tyres there. Big battle behind as Super GT gets past Treviso, and Nathan looks like he's going to follow Super GT through. Treviso running quite wide there. But Treviso goes for the cutback. A little bit of contact. Such a long corner that. And it's Roswald out of nowhere with an absolutely... That is an absurd move there to get 2 positions. As Nathan and Treviso were fighting each other, Roswald just sweeps up the inside. Have a look here on the replay. That is a great move. Move of the season, I say. Right, back aboard with us. Super GT's really caught us up now, and he's on fresher tyres, much fresher tyres. Hanging around the outside of the hairpin. Again, we are going to try and defend here because we are racing everyone. there's no point really letting people through. And I do go defensive on this straight, I just actually don't go defensive enough, I think. And Super GT ends up on my inside, so I do kind of concede the inside line, but I was trying to defend that. We'll try and follow Mr. GT through, although we are going to be pitting this lap, so the pack have just caught us as we're about to pit. So that's probably a good thing, because we used up all of our free air and we're not going to get caught up in this battle. We're going to dive out of it straight away and they are going to continue to fight. So we dive into the pits here. It's the first time I've been to the pits for a long time and I almost overshoot it. I thought I was actually going to hit that pillar or T-bone Ruswood there. You can see the Freibentals, guys and girls in the pits, getting ready to do a mega stop here. Put some more soft tyres on. It is an open choice, by the way. You can use the medium tyre or the hard tyre. It just seems that the soft tyre is the way to go. So we come out of the pits and we've lost the position here to Martin, who we haven't seen in this race before. So that had me thinking that maybe this is not an ideal strategy. And you can see the pack there is a little bit ahead on the roads. But anyway, they are going to be fighting. They can be losing a lot of time. And our tyres are now going to be fresher than the cars ahead. So Martin potentially may have stopped quite a bit early. We're going to shoot ahead here a little bit to lap 10. And we've caught up with Martin, so his tyres must be suffering a bit. As we go onto the back straight, yeah, able to corner much tighter there. Are we going to go for a move? We've got quite a big overspeed. Go to the inside, which will become the outside. But we are going to be ahead, so we can presumably do it on the brakes, which we do. Martin slots in behind. And next on the road is Trevisi. It looks like Martin, yeah, Martin's going to dive into the pits there. So is Trevisi actually, so is Marky Boy. Okay, so the two stoppers stopping again. And to be honest, our tyres aren't going to be that much different. I mean, we've only done a couple more laps, more of these tyres than two stoppers. So that's not a huge gap actually. I think we did quite a good first stint. Maybe did one more lap than we needed to, which is going to help us at the end of the race. So ahead of us we've got Nathan, Super GT, Ruswold at the front of the grid. And Nathan's 5 seconds ahead, but all these drivers are going to have to stop. So we'll zoom ahead again to lap 11, where presumably the rest of the two stoppers will all dive into the pits. And indeed we see some cars diving in. So Nathan goes in, Super GT goes in. Looks like Ruswold doesn't go in, so Ruswold is going to go for another lap, which is interesting because he's going to be at risk of being undercut there, which is the same thing that happened in the first stint actually. And we're going to come out, let's see, and here's Super GT and Nathan. Super GT on the inside line. It's going to be tight actually. Super GT going to outdo us on the brakes, but goes a little bit too deep, so we'll cut back here and get the position back. His tyres are going to be fresher, but our tyres aren't that bad to be honest. They're only a few laps old. So this is for position, I'd say. Can we hold off Mr. GT? We go very wide there. That's not going to do ourselves any favours. And yes, Super GT going to make that one look quite easy up the inside. Although it is neck and neck. Can we hang it on the inside? Let's see. Yeah, not giving up the position, but we will be on the outside for the next bit. Bit of contact there. Trying to go around the outside. Not going to work, is it? And a few penalties. Not sure if that was for the contact or maybe some technical corner cutting, I'm not sure. But anyway, these penalties won't really matter because we'll lose them before the end of the race. So we've got Marky Boy behind now. Let's have a look at that move on the replay. From Mark's perspective, see we go side by side. And yeah, maybe with fresher tyres, could have potentially got around the outside there, but it wasn't going to work. And back to, I'm looking back at the main screen now, Marky Boy. A little bit of contact as I take that corner badly to be honest, and I'm not really in the groove. You can see how far ahead Super GT has got here, a whole second ahead. Marky Boy and Nathan fighting behind them. All the pit stops by this stage are said and done. So everyone is pitted, I think. Well, Ruswood might be converting it to a one-stop now, but in terms of the drivers we're racing with here, everyone's pitted, so it's all for positions. We go too deep there. Surely going to get a penalty. Let's see. No penalty, weirdly, even though it looked like we cut that corner. But a much tighter line from Marky Boy. going to go through on the inside, surely. Although maybe that McLaren doesn't quite have the pace. 2 McLarens behind us. Nathan as well getting involved. I'm just looking at the radar here, to be honest. Russell went in the pit there. We'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, both of the McLarens going to die through on the inside, but we're going to try and cut back. Maybe. Actually, no, Nathan's on the inside. We are going to get a penalty for that. So we didn't get a penalty for this game, but we've got a penalty for that. Probably fair enough. Yeah, so Roswald went into the pits, and actually it looks like a masterstroke, because Roswald essentially had a free pit stop. Treviso coming through as well. They're all coming through now. Yeah, Roswald had a free pit stop, so he pitted. He's come out ahead of Super GT, and he's on fresher tyres. So that is a really important strategy play there. Roswald must have had an absolutely mega in-lap to make that work, because Super GT was on fresher tyres. So that's going to be quite important for the lead of the race. Meanwhile here, Treviso's through. We've got Marky Boy and Nathan fighting. And that's our only hope if they fight. I mean, in terms of our kind of loose objective of mixing it with the alien drivers, I'd say, yeah, we are mixing it with them in this race, which is good. Because it's not my best track. So this is a good sign for the season ahead, hopefully. And this race is not over yet. 5 minutes to go, and Marky Boy and Nathan are really fighting. That's going to take it out on their tyres. Treviso's making a charge. Might also be using up some of that sweet, sweet rubber. And I'm going to have to contend with some pretty aggressive tyre wear come the end of the race. So definitely not over yet as Marky Boy and Nathan go side by side into the chicane. 2 McLarens becoming one. Marky Boy goes quite deep actually. Let's see, is Treviso going to go for a move? I mean, the more these drivers fight, the better for us. Treviso trying to go around the outside. And now the cutback. Hope you have enjoyed this video so far, by the way. Do feel free to drop a like or even subscribe if you're new to the channel. I am going to be making a video of each of the Club 100 All-Stars races this season. We did stream some of the races last season, so we could also stream some. And if you want to get more involved in the KRT community, there is a link to our Discord in the description below. See Marky Boy there lighting up the tyres. That kind of stuff is going to, you know, chew them up. It's not going to be a good thing for the tyres. And throughout this race I have tried to be consistent with the way I drive and not... I've been happy in sacrificing time to look after the tyres, that makes sense. So we'll zoom ahead a bit. Lap 15, 1.5 minutes to go, so probably this is going to be the penultimate lap, one more lap after this. Treviso and Marky Boy fighting now. Marky Boy with a big snap there of oversteer. Gets that on the sand, and that is really unusual. That was a really big snap, just getting on the sand. Right. Yeah, this isn't going to be the last lap, it's going to be one more lap. Treviso 1.4 seconds ahead. Let's see if we can start to close him down. We do have this penalty contend, but we have had this penalty for a long time now. Haven't been able to get it down, which is probably a good reflection on my driving actually. But anyway, we zoom ahead here to the last lap. We'll take the penalty on the line. See Martin just behind. And it's going to be a P5 for us. And I'm really, really happy with that. I mean, P5 out of this grid it's a really good result for me, and I should enjoy it, I think. And I'm hoping that this season is going to be more mega races like this, more strategy, more people trying different things. We're not bound by, you know, the penalty system in FIA and other stuff like that. The combos are all really good. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any feedback on the video, do let me know in the comments. Do also feel free to like, subscribe, do all of that jazz. Hit the notification bell if you want. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed this one. See you on the next stream or the next video. Have a good one, and see you next time.